I would like to know what success looks like. For example, for Enable, it's always been, I said at the beginning, there's no such thing as a typical learner. Our success has always been, well, what kind of impact can we have? What kind of ripple can we make in the water? I keep coming back to water, man. How many different kinds of learners can we bring in with what we design? And that's always been a goal from day one. Who's not being included? If you will, if you want to use a teacher metaphor, it's been really important for us to take attendance at all kinds of stages. Who's here and who isn't. And teachers do this thing where they say, who hasn't spoken in a while? Who haven't we heard from? How about you over there? Our success has been based on that. So I want to know from our panelists, what does success look like? How do you know that it's working, what you're implementing? And what do you wish for? If someone could wave a magic wand and, stuff would just happen the way you wanted it to, what does successful learning look like for all of you? And maybe we'll start with Shan this time.
Great question. I often sort of think about measuring success. And, much like Tufa talked about, we have funders and they want to know very specific things, and that doesn't always capture what success is, right? Because sometimes it's that the really big important things don't come with a number, they don't come with a time frame, they don't come with that stuff. So if I think about for us and where we are when it comes to our core job, which is to help more technology and innovation companies get to market, to grow, to hire, to achieve sales, to garner investments. For us, I really think we have to look at enabling them with the education. And this has opened our eyes to that education can come in so many formats. I truly believe for us, it's a hybrid model. The online's great, but then we have to augment it with the experts who've done it before. So how do I take what you just watched in a video and help you to apply it to your business so you meet that next milestone? And I think for us, it really comes down to thinking about all the different styles, thinking about how do we incorporate hybrid with expertise and really get it to action. How do we help people get to action? But I wish I could say, the success is, 100,000 more technology businesses in Halton. But every day I have to look at every little step and every little progress and, be happy with what we can help people achieve.
You are absolutely right, Shan. Education and training and learning, they are long tail games. And it takes so long sometimes to see results, and results come in so many different forms, and they're so subjective to interpretation sometimes. But good on you. Keep it up and keep looking long term. All right, thank you. Durfa, do you want to try?
Being a nonprofit, like success to us looks like youth from our communities are achieving their goals. And measuring that is quite complex and complicated. And the work that we're doing, like we're responding to the needs of a community created by some pretty massive systemic issues. So when it comes to us internally, like how we measure success internally for us, status quo isn't going to cut it. Business as usual is not going to cut it. We need to be trying new things. We need to be testing new models, and we need to be collecting data constantly to better the work that we're doing and to just continue to be effective in this space and build off of that. So these are kind of massive goals, but internally, like how we measure success would be a good pulse check, and this is going to sound maybe a little bit cheesy, but I think it's trust. So if the team is set up, to trust each other, then that's a good indicator that they're going to work effectively towards the big, massive, complex issues that we want to actually address. And when it comes to measuring it as a supervisor, I think the questions that I would ask is, are people that report to me feeling comfortable when they're running into challenges to be transparent about what they're facing? Do they trust me enough to come to me for support? And is feedback well received? As a team, am I watching that the dynamics of the team? Are people able to comfortably lean on each other? How comfortable are we when it comes to actually sharing when challenges pop up and talk about just the lessons that have been learned? So I think big, massive goals as a nonprofit or a charity, and I'm sure that that's the case for all of the other organizations there, but when it comes to, are we en route to actually achieve it? I think a team with the right skill set, but that trusts each other, can achieve anything. So that's my kind of cheesy way of answering that question.
Not cheesy at all. Education is a spot where, we're all made vulnerable. I taught English for years and years and years, and there's nothing more vulnerable than showing someone your writing. So yes, there has to be that level of trust that someone isn't going to be hard on you, that they're going to take you seriously, that they're going to try and find solutions if they don't have them already themselves, that they're going to work with you to try and figure things out. So it's not cheesy at all. It's an incredibly important part of teaching and learning and training, is to have a cohesive, team that have each other's backs. So thank you for sharing that. That's great. Monique.
For us, I guess a lot of the challenges that would show success is the mental health of our first responders. Like, that's been a priority through COVID for us, right? Because they are still out in the public. They are responding to calls that have been identified as COVID positive. That's the stress. Do they bring it home to their families? The self-isolation. They're working in departments 24 hours, living with these people. So I would say for us, one of the biggest challenges, but one of the biggest successes is maintaining and ensuring the mental health of the first responders. And we've had overwhelming support from the community, from mental health workers, peer support groups. So that's been a top priority for us, and still maintaining a level of service out there. The social media has been, although like I said, it was a learning challenge for us, what a great tool to be engaged and reach out to people that we never had access to before. Young people, older people, people with accessibility needs that would say to us, that's great, but how come this is in English? My parents don't read English. Can I find this material in another language? And we were like, oh, you're right. So for an example, we know that March break for kids is going to be a real struggle for a lot of parents out there. So we thought, what can we do to engage the kids, since we can't run a camp for them during March break? So we found a book. It's called No Dragons for Tea. And usually I used to read it at the library for children. So we reached out to our diverse firefighters and said to them, does anyone speak another language? So we're doing it in traditional Chinese. We are doing it in Arabic. We're doing it in French. We're doing it in sign language. We're filming the firefighters actually doing the reading of the book. We've had it translated. That was a learning curve because the rhymes in English don't translate in every language. So it doesn't sound funny in some of the languages. So they came back to us, and one of the ones when we had it translated, William, one of our firefighters, came back and said, so I went over it with my parents, and he's doing the traditional Chinese, and he said, we can't read this. And I said, why not? And he said, the way it's been translated is actually an insult to our culture. So we were like, and we had it professionally done. And he said, no, for our culture, we would not take it that way. So anyways, we had it revised. So it's been such an eye-opener. It actually led to us reaching out to the cultural and religious leaders in our community for Halton Region. We have the other 3 fire departments joining us now. And we formed our own committee to address fire safety needs specific to the cultures and diversities in the region. So although COVID has been bad for a lot of things, obviously, it really has been a huge learning opportunity for the fire service, and building these relationships and reaching out and developing relationships and material and resources that is inclusive of everybody in Halton Region. So that's been a great opportunity for us.
That's amazing. And I think, you spoke so wonderfully about, making sure success for you being that people on your team are still okay, that they go home and, that their mental health is still okay. And I think that's the case for a lot of frontline workers right now. It's a worry for a lot of careers, including, first responders. are they all right after all this? How do we make sure, that we train them in such a way that they know to take care of themselves? And I think by extension, these materials that you've been producing for children in many different languages and many different translations and many different forms, I think that helps with their mental health as well. I think it's very reassuring in times of stress like this, where things that we used to think were up are now down, and things, are zigzagging and backwards. It's really nice to have that reassurance in your own language, in a context that you understand. You're meeting people where they are, which is wonderful. So thank you so much.
Just listening to all of the other success stories, it's so heartwarming to see, like, yes, we've had a global, or we still have a global pandemic ongoing, and there are a number of inequities that have resurfaced and a number of inequities that have now been highlighted. But at the same time, there are successes there, and we've all found ways that we've been able to feel successful as well. Success, I'm always hesitant about what success means to someone, because what success means to me, or what I think means to the organization, may be different for our volunteers that are part of the organization too. We are a completely volunteer-driven organization, and we are at about 95% females as well. So in terms of when I look at the organization, for me, it's already successful in that we are doing what our mission is, which is increasing and creating that network for South Asian women. They all feel like they have someplace that is that feels like a safe space, and that there is representation and there's understanding. And so if they came with like a cultural thing, or they came with a statement about something that they were making at home for dinner and exchanging recipes, they have that space to do so, but at the same time also promoting STEM activities, and they've been able to connect with one another. We have aerospace engineers that are connecting with public health journalists and trying to find ways on how can we include public health measures and space science and bring it together and present that to youth. And also success in terms of, like, yes, we've been present where we do multilingual science communication and making science communication more accessible. When I think that is a big success for us, in that we've been able to do that. We've been able to take our skill sets, we've been trained in it, and now we're learning and relearning how do we do this in our own native languages, and do this for our families, and for even just globally, the amount of people who may not have had access to English at that level, so that they can make more informed health decisions for themselves. So that's been another huge success for us, and how I see for the organization, and that we're good. In terms of like overall success, where if I could wave that magic wand and have it, I would say accessibility to information, and accessibility to make decisions for yourself, and having accessibility to resources, having accessibility to equity, and feeling included in not just conversations, but also in policies and in decision making. And there's many levels. So I think accessibility would be that magic wand success answer that I'd like to give.
Absolutely. Yeah. And knowledge is power, right? The more people who have it, the better the decisions they can make, the more they can, go on with their lives in a way that makes sense to them. And I think what I've pulled from your answer, Rupali, is that being successful doesn't mean you're done. It sounds like every time, and I'm sure everyone on the panel has found that, you know, you finish something and you think that went really well, awesome, go us. And then a million other little things shoot out of it. Oh, but we could do this too, and we could do that. And I've noticed that this isn't getting taken care of. And so yeah, that it's ongoing and it's growing, and that, you know, success just makes you think about what you're going to do next sometimes. And that in itself is a wonderful exercise. It's a great thing to happen. So thank you. Thank you very much. How would you enable her in your industry? What's on your wish list? What do you think success looks like? What would you like to see happen? And it doesn't have to be a magnum opus. You don't have to write, you know, a whole volume on it. A sentence. You know, I would really like to see that happen. Or wouldn't it be great? It would really enable her if this happened in my industry. So everybody take a moment, and this is going to be made into a giant, beautiful collage of ideas. And we will be making it, we will be putting it up online so that people can go back and have a look at it, see what everyone else is looking forward to, is hoping will happen. So please join in and put your wish list, put your success in the collective project here. Balance, accessibility, understanding. Okay, positive contributions, flexible working conditions, free childcare. Whoo, amen to that. Working together to reach goals, asking for input, equal wages for equal work. Yes, still an issue. Compassion, inclusion, mentorship. All right, this is great. Keep on adding. I think we're at 19 people have contributed so far. We've got lots more room. Paid sick leave. Yes, paid sick leave. Stepping back to refocus, fulfillment. Oh, this is great. Equity. Seeking first to understand. Good. Re-energizing. Yeah, a chance to take a breath. Proper funding, allyship. Well, we've got a really beautiful snapshot here, and thank you for contributing, everyone.